Hey, winning couples, is Robin May, and you got to know we are going there. I got the whiteboard behind me, and we're about to have a conversation about values. I keep seeing couples miss one another because they're focused on the behavior and they don't understand the issue is really a values misalignment. I am going there in this video, so make sure that you go ahead and check that out. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, comment, let us know what you want us to talk about and even what your greatest takeaway was from this video. All right, I'm not going to hold you up. Let's go ahead and check it out. Winning couples, winning couples, winning couples. Can somebody create us a jingle for winning couples? I have been waiting for 2 weeks to do this live. First of all, anybody who's been following me on Instagram over here on I Believe in Marriage, y'all getting sick of seeing this sweatshirt. I'm going to keep wearing this sweatshirt because you need to order yours. Go ahead, click the link in your bio. You can get the I Believe in Marriage sweatshirt, hoodie, t-shirt. Grab yours in any color you want. But y'all, I have been waiting to do this live. Normally when I come on I Believe in Marriage, I am sitting down, baby, but I got the whiteboard because this concept that I have to share with you all, when I tell you, it keeps coming up in my work with couples. It's like blaring and glaring. And so I need you all to get this concept. So I got the whiteboard out, honey. If you need, it's something I might tell you, you can DM me to get, because I have a little worksheet that can help you with that. Just DM me and I'll send it to you. But we have to dive into this conversation. I want you to go ahead and send this live to somebody right now. Say, come on over here, join Robin. We got to talk about it. I got my notes in front of me. I am standing up. Y'all know this is serious. Okay, so today I want us to dive into this concept about your marriage values. See, you think that y'all's argument is about the dishes. You think y'all's argument is about whether you're saving money or not. You think y'all's argument is about who's helping with the kids and who's not. Y'all, I'm getting ahead of myself. There is so much focus on the behavior that you're not getting to the root of what's really going on. And so you feel like you're spinning your wheels. You feel like you all cannot get on the same page. You feel like you cannot get on the same page. It is because the issue is not your behavior. The issue is your values. I am telling you, save this live. You know I'm going to upload it to YouTube. So if it's easier for you to digest it on YouTube, it'll be up tomorrow. Send this to your spouse. Send this to your best friend so that y'all can talk about it further, because I'm telling you, this is a game changer. If I had an opportunity to have a TED talk to couples, there are 3 things I would tell them, and this is one of them: that you think the issue is the behavior. Really, the issue is a misalignment of your values. And like I told you, I've been waiting 2 weeks to have this conversation because I have had a lot of dental work. And so my face is still even a little bit swollen right here, but I said, it's good enough. Y'all gonna have to deal with this little swelling of my face because I want us to dive into this conversation. And so, as I've already told you, we are talking about understanding that where we're missing each other as husbands and wives, where we're missing each other is because we're focused so much on the behavior. And what I am finding with my couples and what I'm finding with individuals who are talking through marital challenges or concerns is that they find themselves repeating the same conversation over and over again. And they're frustrated, like we just talked about this, and it seems like nothing is changing. It is because you are dealing with the symptom. You aren't dealing with the root. And so as long as we deal with the symptom and we don't deal with the root, you're never going to find change. You're never going to find you all on the same page. And you understand this. If you even think about it physically, if I am constantly telling you that I am having a headache and I keep popping medication for my headache, one time that might be okay. I might be able to say, oh, I got a headache. I have a good friend, honey, she has a headache, and she's like, I have to figure out, why do I have a headache? I'm like, girl, you just got a headache. But if you're having a headache every single day, or if there's a migraine that's happening once a month, we need to figure out what's going on, because you can keep taking medicine, but you're just dealing with the symptom, your headache. Your body's trying to tell you something. Maybe it's something that you're eating. Maybe you need to drink more water. Maybe you need glasses. That's what's happening in your marriage. Maybe y'all need to drink some water. Maybe y'all need some glasses. In other words, what is the root issue? So let me show you first this visual. I'm already going to show you a visual. Like I said, I don't think I've done this on IG Live. I've done this a lot on Robin May Online. But let me show you this. This is a visual that can just help you understand what's happening in your life, period. What I'm about to show you here, this visual will help you understand what's happening with your children, what's happening with your job, what's happening with your own health, what's happening with that conflict with your best friend, what's happening with anything. This is just human behavior. Look at this. I'm hoping you guys can see this. Okay, I think y'all can see it pretty good. Have you ever heard the saying, it's just the tip of the iceberg? Have you ever heard that saying? You know what? It's just the tip of the iceberg. Can I tell y'all what's so funny? Any client that might come across this video, they are laughing because, baby, when we on that Zoom, I will bust out the whiteboard on the Zoom. I'm going to do a visual because I understand better when we see things in pictures. So this is right up my alley. Maybe I should have been a kindergarten teacher. That's probably, maybe I should have been a kindergarten teacher. And so you've heard the saying, it's just the tip of the iceberg. What that saying is telling us, what is above the waterline. Let's be a little bit more dramatic. Let's make the waterline blue so you can really get this visual. When we hear somebody say it's just the tip of the iceberg, what we're saying is beneath the waterline is what's really happening. What you see above the waterline is just the tip. And look at this. The tip is just 10% of what's happening. Stick with me. I am telling you, if you can get this concept, it is going to be revelatory for your marriage. The behavior, whatever the behavior is, let's take it off of your marriage for a little bit. You are frustrated with your eating and you're like, I got to get my eating under control. I keep eating Pillsbury chocolate chip cookies every single night. That's just the tip of the iceberg. What's triggering my need to eat the Pillsbury chocolate chips every day? I got to deal with what's happening beneath the waterline, not just the behavior. Your child has a funky attitude, and the funky attitude is just the tip of the iceberg. It's just the behavior. What is triggering? What's happening beneath the waterline that is triggering that behavior? Now, I hear what you're saying. I don't care what's triggering her funky attitude. She just needs to get it together. Sure, I'm with you. But with intentional parenting, you want to know what's going on. Y'all, this is the same thing in our marriage. Whatever behavior you are seeing is just the tip of the iceberg. It's just 10% of what's really going on. So I know what you're saying. I hear you, Robin. But what's beneath the waterline? Let me tell you. Beneath the waterline are our thoughts, our feelings, and this is the important part, our core beliefs. I don't know if you all can see this very clearly, but I'm talking it out. Beneath the waterline are our thoughts, our feelings, and our core beliefs. Remember, you think you're arguing about the dishes. You think you're arguing about the money. You think you're arguing about whether or not your spouse is helping you with the children. You think the argument is about him or her allowing their mother to talk disrespectfully to you. You think you're arguing about where you're going on your family vacation. You think you're arguing about fidelity or infidelity. The behavior is only 10% of what's going on. This is behavior. That's the reason why I preach you got to slow down and pay attention to what's really going on. That's why even if your spouse is not in counseling, you need to be in counseling, because a good therapist will help you slow down and figure out what's really going on. We're talking about values. Are y'all sticking? Y'all see why I had to do a visual? Y'all sticking with me? So when you find you and your spouse having the same argument over and over again, dealing with the same situation over and over again, more than likely, somewhere your values are not aligned. Somewhere there is a missing connection to your values. And here's the thing. Here is something I talk a lot about with Robin May online. So for those of you who might be new to the work I do, I have a 2-lane highway, empowering women and equipping couples. And so my work with women, I'm constantly giving them this statement that I'm now sharing with all of you. I tell them all the time, when you hear me, jot this down, make this note. When you don't honor your deepest values, you will always live with an undercurrent of life dissatisfaction. Please write that down. I know that's a big statement. This is for men and women. This is what I teach the women in my coaching course, but this is just a life principle. It goes for marriage too. So let me tell it to you again. When you don't honor your deepest values, you will always live with an undercurrent of a life dissatisfaction. Wherever you are dissatisfied in your life, I am telling you, you will be able to trace it back to an area in your life where your values are not being honored. So again, if you're just coming on, we're talking about what's happening, the behavior that's showing up in your marriage, the thing that keeps happening over and over again is just 10% of what's going on. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Down here is the 90%. Again, let me take it off of marriage for a moment. Your child having a tantrum, that's just 10%. There's something else going on beneath the waterline. Your mother is being difficult. That's just 10%. My mother be on Instagram, so I got to be careful what I'm saying. Hey, mama, your mother being difficult is just 10%. There's something going on. You're trying to figure out why you can't get unstuck in your life. You're trying to figure out why you keep staying in the same pattern over and over again. You're focusing so much on your behavior. You're focusing on the 10%. You're focused on the tip of the iceberg. You're not dealing with what is fueling that behavior. Again, if you're just coming on, have you ordered your I Believe in Marriage hoodie, sweatshirt, t-shirt? Make sure you grab it. Okay. So the reason I've been so passionate about this, I've been waiting for the swelling in my mouth. Y'all can still see it. The swelling in my mouth to go down a little bit is because I want you to understand when we have misaligned values in our marriage, there will be an undercurrent of life dissatisfaction. So I want to give you 3 pointers. I think it's 3 pointers. Let me look through these notes. 3 pointers. Stay with me. It's actually 4. And the 4th one is a free a free worksheet that I'm going to send you if you DM me. Just DM me and say, sis, I need this. DM me and say, Robin, if you're a fella, you probably not going to call me sis. You might. Some of my homeboys call me sis. So either way, you can say, sis, send me that worksheet. Just DM me on I Believe in Marriage. Me or my assistant will make sure we give you the link. You can email me you can DM me right now. And by first thing tomorrow, you will have the worksheet. That's point number 4. So let me walk you through why I am telling you that when your values are misaligned, that's what's really happening in your marriage. It is not the 10%. It's not the behavior. It is not your spouse not necessarily caring about you. It's not your spouse just not wanting to help with the children. It's not your spouse I'm trying to think about some of the common, having a different opinion about how you handle the money. That's just 10% of what's going on. You've got to get to the 90%. So let me give you point number 1. I think point number 1, I have another visual for you. So let me erase this so that I can be ready to give you this visual. And this visual I'm about to give you is really off the top of my head. I was about to go there with a client today and we just got distracted, but the visual, God shows things to me in pictures. So the visual just kind of came to me while we were talking. My mind is so many things I want to share with you. So this visual I'm going to share. This is the first time I'm sharing it. So there are 4 points why your values are misaligned. Number 1, the behavior is just the branch. Your values are the root. I want you to get that picture. The behavior that's happening is the branch. It's the 10%. Your values are the root, right? And so when you're looking at what you see, the dishes, how y'all are spending time together or how you're not spending time together, how you're prioritizing things, that's just the behavior. But the root is really about what I value. And so here is the scary thing. Hear me. When you don't know your own values, that's why point number 4 is going to be really helpful to you. When you don't know your own values, or when your spouse doesn't know his or her own values, of course, both of you get stuck in the loop of the behavior. You find yourself repeating yourself over and over again because you don't understand yourself that there's a deeper issue going on. So what's the visual? What I have found and what I'm seeing so much with so many people, and quite frankly, I see it even with myself. So what I just said is the behavior is the branch. Ooh, you would think I know how to draw. Can y'all pretend that's a tree? The behavior is the branch, but the root are your values. But this is what I'm finding. Stay with me. This is what I'm finding with so many people, including myself. You may know what's important to you. Maybe this is the first time you have framed it as your value, but you know what's important to you. Here's the thing. And you may be overly fixated on that one thing without understanding there are other things that you value as well. So for example, I'm just going to put myself out there, okay? I ain't going to put y'all out there. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to put myself on the line. One of the things that's a high value for me is partnership. So, partnership is a high value for me. Baby, ain't no such thing as the mother does this. Baby, no, I have all girls. So we do everything, sir. One thing he not gonna do is no hair, okay? He ain't gonna be in there doing no hair. But other than that, baby, partnership is a high value. I want to know, and not just with the girls, I want to know that we are doing this together, that we both have all hands on deck. For me, it's very important to me that I don't feel like I'm alone in this. It's very important to me that we both are carrying the same weight, probably to a point where it's unhealthy. I sometimes can get so fixated on partnership. I'm putting myself out there. I can become so fixated on partnership that I inadvertently become very tit for tat. How do you spell that? Tit for tat. If I'm not careful, I have such a high value of partnership that it is almost unhealthy at times because I'm like, I've done this 4 times. What have you done? I remember when our children were younger, this was really an issue when our children were younger. I would feel like, I'm putting myself out there, I don't need y'all's judgment, okay? I would feel like I have changed diapers 3 times. It's your turn. I don't care that you are in the middle of a work call. She's going to just be in a wet diaper because I have changed that diaper 3 times, tit for tat, right? If I wasn't aware of that, that would cause a problem in our marriage. Remember, point number 1 is that behavior is the branch, values are the root. And so if my husband did not understand that it wasn't about a diaper, it wasn't about giving a child a bath. I'm trying to think of a reality now. Now, just how the way our house has, how our lives have kind of played out, I work from home. So I'm the one who handles dinner most of the time, like all the time. Hello. So I wish I would have to wash a dish, right? I feel like partnership. So even if he doesn't wash the dishes, he's yelling at them girls to wash the dishes, right? Because I value partnership. If he didn't understand that, he would think that I'm just being difficult. But he understands that's a high value for my spouse. So how do I honor the value? Woo, I hope this is helping you. What is your spouse's value? But first, what is yours? So, number one, partnership is a high value for me. Another high value for me is security. This is a high value for me. So it's not about the dollar, but security is often connected to money. But what I began to realize is not the money. It's that I know that we are both working towards security, that you're not doing anything to cause our security to be in question. See, even when the money is funny, hello? Is anybody there? Even when the money is funny, if I can see that you aren't doing anything to cause this to be a problem, I can have a lot of peace because I know you're honoring my value. Oh, I hope this is helping you all. So I got distracted. I was going to give you a visual. What I am finding with so many couples, and why you're finding yourself, and this might be taking us a little bit off of point one, but let me go ahead and go here. Where you might be finding yourself frustrated in your marriage is because you have not identified your values. You only know what this one thing that's important to you. So, for example, you may say, money is very important to you. Now you know that money is really about security. That's very important to you. So watch this. So your spouse makes good money. And this is very important to you. It may be a hyper focus like partnership is for me. So watch this. But you have forgotten that respect is important to you as well. That maybe fidelity is important to you as well. Maybe let's throw partnership in there. Maybe partnership is important to you as well. Now you can't have 20 high values. Okay. You can have them, but you can't expect your partner to do all the things. So let's say these are your 4 values, but you have put so much focus on security and your spouse makes good money. And so you're feeling bad because you're tripping about the respect and you're tripping about the fidelity and you're tripping about the partnership. You know that's important to you, but because you have done a hyper focus on security, you're dishonoring these values. So if you think about it like a garden, here's the visual. If you think about it like a garden, this is a garden. This is the root down here. You are only honoring, the only value you're honoring is security. And you're letting these values die. So now it's causing the marriage to be in trouble because you're hyper fixated on just one value. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? That's why you and your spouse need to slow down to recognize you're not arguing about the dishes. You're frustrated because there is a value that is not being honored. There is a value. Thank you, spouse, for doing this. But you're not doing these things. And while this is very important to me, these things are important too. So how do I make sure that I'm meeting your values and you're meeting mine? Okay, so point number 1, behavior is a branch, values are the root. Y'all know I got to give you a scripture because over here on I Believe in Marriage, we partner with our clinical expertise and our spiritual sensitivity. The Bible says, for where your treasure is, there your heart is also. And so you want to make sure that you're honoring what's really going on in your heart, okay? And so one of the ways you can frame this to your spouse, the next time y'all are having a conflict, instead of saying, why do you always do this? Here is a reframe. Are you taking notes? Save this video. Send this video to your spouse. Here is the reframe. Instead of saying, why do you always do this? I want you to practice saying, what really matters to you about this? Help me understand what really matters, because I think I'm missing it and I want to make sure I'm honoring what matters to you. You're welcome. Here is point number 2. I did not spend this much time today. Point number 2. Unspoken values immediately create silent expectations. Unspoken values immediately create unspoken or silent expectations. So many of our marriage frustrations are because there are unspoken expectations that are tied to what you value that have not been verbalized. And y'all have heard me say, it is unfair to hold somebody accountable to what you haven't told them. So for example, I talked about financial security. Let's say one of you grew up valuing financial security and the other person really values being there for people. You're frustrated because your spouse always trying to help somebody out and you're over here like, what about us? It's just a misalignment of values. Unspoken values create silent expectations. You are assuming that your spouse sees the world the way you do when they simply do not. And that is the reason why you have to know your values and then you have to speak your values. The Bible says, how can two walk together unless they are agreed? So let me show you another visual. I told y'all I got to be serious if I done brought out the whiteboard. And for an extra bonus, if you DM me for the point number 4 that I'm about to show you, when you DM me, remind me to show you all this that I'm about to draw for you. I have an actual visual of this that you can save on your phone. Look at this. All of us came into marriage with expectations, but then we have our experience. Now I have the visual for this. We came into marriage with our expectations, but we also have our experience. But when your expectation is too far from your experience, a gap occurs. So what happens in that gap? That gap is filled with anger, frustration, disappointment, resentment. So the goal is to bridge the gap between what I am expecting and what I am experiencing. But when you aren't articulating your deepest values, there's going to be an expectation that's not met. And a long-term life with expectations that are not met, no wonder you're angry, frustrated, disappointed, or resentful. And so this is going to mean you slowing down, naming and negotiating your values so that you can be in agreement. Naming and negotiating your values. I already hear somebody saying, Robin, my spouse is not going to go for this. You can start the process though. You can start to reframe conversations like this. So for example, when you feel tension, you can ask, wait a minute, ask yourself internally, what value is not being honored? What expectation isn't being met right now? Slow to see, you cannot change what you don't acknowledge. I know he tripping. I know she wilding out. But you got to start with understanding what's going on in you. Here's number 3, because my phone is about to die. We got to wrap this up. Number 3, communication tools cannot heal a misalignment of values. Let me give that to you again. Communication tools cannot heal a misalignment of values. I have a whole communication course. You can go right now to IBelieveInMarriage.com/communication. I can help you figure out what's going on in your communication, because it really is your communication. It's your connection, but that's another conversation. But you can learn all the tools. Those are the mechanics of marriage. We need to fix our communication. We need to fix our communication. And I am telling you, those are the mechanics. Does anybody look at Love is Blind? Y'all know I have attention deficit, so I'm about to go off the track and my phone is about to die. Does anybody look at Love is Blind? Am I putting myself out there? There is a episode, this season of Love is Blind, if you're watching this in 2025, there was a couple on there. And the woman called the man the B word. Baby, that don't help no communication. If I'm going to give you some communication tools, I'm going to say, refrain from calling your spouse the B word. Ooh, this is such a good example. But her calling her spouse the B word was just the tip of the iceberg. Somebody say, teach, Robin. Her calling her spouse the B word was just the tip, the man, that B word's the tip of the iceberg. There was so much going on beneath the surface that led to that manifestation that we need to deal with all that stuff going on beneath the surface. And so what couples will say to me is, Robin, help us with our communication. And initially they're very frustrated until they begin to trust me a little bit, because I'm not even dealing with that, because I'm trying to deal with the root. There are some surface things we need to know. Don't call your man a B. Don't call your wife out her name. Make sure you use I statements. Stay away from alls and you always. Stay away from those inflexible statements. All that's great. But if we don't deal with the root, that doesn't really mean anything. Baby, I am masterful of being up and screaming and crunk and then saying, you know what? I am going to lower my tone and I'm going to talk to you with respect. I know how to do that. But that doesn't mean that my heart is right. And so you have to understand, you can learn all the communication tools, but that's not going to deal with misalignment of values. You need to really understand your values because you cannot over communicate and heal what values are broken. Are you with me? So you want to be able to be clear about what you value as you communicate the values so that your spouse can hear your heart. Are you with me? The Bible says, unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. So in other words, don't just blame how we're talking, the words we're using. Let's get clear about what's driving the words. One of the frustrating things I hear is when people say, I didn't mean to say that. Yeah, you did. No, actually, you may not have meant to say it. It doesn't mean you didn't mean it. That's why we got to deal with our heart, right? Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so that's why you want to build your understanding of your values and learn how to communicate that instead of the other way around. And so before learning what to say, I want you to clarify what matters most to you as a person and as a couple. And that leads me to point number 4. So let's go to point 1 through 3, and I'll give you point number 4. Point number 1 is behavior is the branch, values are the root. 2, unspoken values create silent expectations. Communication tools can't heal a misalignment of values. But here is number 4. For many years in-person workshops, I have taught this concept called the UCQ. The UCQ, what does that stand for? Your unique couples quality. Your unique couples quality. Your UCQ. What is that? I believe that there is a reason God brought you and your spouse together. And I believe it is important for the two of you to discover what makes us special. What is our thing? What is the call of God on our life? How do we live our life with a clear vision for our lives? And so I call that your UCQ, your unique couples quality. So the goal is not to merge your identities into one necessarily, but to integrate them into one. Do you understand that? You want to integrate who you are into one. And your UCQ becomes the compass for how you all live your life. It's interesting. My husband was talking about this recently to our daughters, and he was telling them that he didn't use the words UCQ, but the calling on our life as a family is to be a voice for the voiceless. It's a proverb scripture. We are called to be a voice for the voiceless, right? To pave the way to my daughter. I smiled because that was my daughter's campaign, Pave the Way, Kimberly May. But that really was her walking in our calling as a family. And so he went on to say it shows up in our natural leadership in our individual lives, in my life, in his life, and in the girls' lives. All of them in their unique way are leaders. And so this is how you begin to set a vision for your family. You and your spouse have a clear roadmap for what God has called y'all to do. And so how do you identify your UCQ? That's what you can email me. I'm going to tell you now, but you can DM me and I'll send you the worksheet. It's absolutely free. It's very simple. But basically, what you're going to do is you're going to name your values. And I'll walk you through how to do that on a very high level. Your spouse is going to name their values at a very high level. You're going to bring those values together. And then the two of you are going to merge those values together to identify out of these. You're going to have 5. He's going to have 5. You're going to have 5. She's going to have 5. And you're going to say, okay, we have these 10 values. Number 1, are any of them already similar? Because that gives you a aha. If not, how do we take what's important to you and what's important to me to create what's important for us? And once you do that and you answer a few questions, you'll discover your unique couples quality. And that will be the thing that guides you when the two of you can't seem to agree. When the two of you are finding yourselves bumping heads, you'll remember we have a higher level call on our life. All right. The Bible says, and the two shall become one. So very quickly, if you don't want to DM me, I don't know why not. But if you don't want to DM me, just start by naming your 3 personal values. Ask your spouse to do the same and identify which ones do we have in common. And that can help you begin to shape your unique couples quality. So again, you may be valuing partnership, but your spouse might be valuing autonomy. How do you honor both? You may be valuing saving. Your spouse might be valuing generosity. How do you honor both? Your spouse may be valuing your child's education. You may be valuing your child's experiences. How do you honor both? You may value creating your own synergy with your family, but your spouse is really extended family oriented. How do you honor both? You may be really serious about business and goals and doing big things, and your spouse might be really more interested in a 9-to-5 and keeping things stable. How do you honor both? I want you to think about your life, think about your marriage, think about the biggest arguments you all keep having. I am telling you, if you take some time, you will be able to identify, we are not aligned on what we value. All right, y'all, I have been waiting to get this to you. I hope this encouraged you. I hope it gave you something to think about. Save this video, share it with your family and friends. Come back and look at it again. Take some notes and then DM me so that you can get the UCQ worksheet. I am committed to helping couples just like you win in your marriage. I cannot wait to see you all next. Actually, I'll be back on Wednesday. Make sure you're following us on YouTube. And I have something exciting that I am doing next week. I cannot wait to share that with you all. Let people know to come over here and follow us on I Believe in Marriage or subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, I'll see y'all next time.